everybody, my name is Sera Jo. This week I'm co-hosting music lessons with Carlos. See you!
Welcome everybody to another live session in music lesson webinar with Carlos. Today we will cover different topics such as ear training, music theory, keyboard skills, chord progressions, and contemporary voicings. We also have some new piano tutorials, so stay tuned and let's get started. Thank you, Sera Jo, for this wonderful music introduction of Spirit of the West. I wanted to mention also that Sera Jo she was a student of Ras Ferrante for quite a few years. Yeah, and I'm asking Sera, can you show me some of Ras tricks? All those voicings and all those lines, yeah, please, pass me some good information. So far she hasn't, and I'm gonna continue asking Sera, I wanna learn those voicings and I wanna learn those lines, yeah? So anyways. Spirit of the West, yeah, belongs to the album Club Nocturne, which was released in 1998. It's the 13th studio album by Yellowjackets, and it was nominated by his Best Contemporary Jazz Album Grammy Award. Yeah, and the album features Ras Ferrante on keyboards and Jimmy Haslip, amazing bass player. Will Kennedy drums, Bob Mintzer in tenor and soprano saxophone, and also has some guest musicians like Muyungu Jackson in percussion and James Hara in guitar. Okay, so now we're gonna start our work, and I want to do some interesting warm-ups. Yeah, I want to work with this. This is actually, but in order to do this, I need to change my camera setup. Okay, one moment. Okay, why don't you follow me? This is actually a very cool warm-up, yeah? We're gonna explore 7 keyboard spaces. It just takes 30 seconds. This is one of my favorites. If I only have 30 seconds to do something before a recording session or, studio gig, whatever, usually I do this. Okay, so we're gonna explore our 7 keyboard spaces. What is the purpose of this? When we see a great pianist like Gonzalo Rubalcaba, Keith Jarrett, or a classical pianist like, one of my favorite ones, Juja Wang, yeah, they are all over the piano, yeah, they have this spatial freedom of movement. And yeah, we don't have to wait, to master Chopin or Rachmaninoff to be able to have that spatial freedom. We can just, start exploring, even if we're beginners. Okay, so why don't we start with this process? Okay, number 1, you're gonna play 10 notes at random. Random means random. Whatever notes your 10 fingers are gonna fall on the keyboard, they're gonna fall on the keyboard. So here we go. Middle of the keyboard, then we're gonna do 10 notes at random in the lower register. 10 notes at random on the high register. 10 notes at random middle, but now right hand crossing left. That's another space. Yeah, that's another movement. That's another body position. Now 10 notes at random in the lower register, and hands are gonna be crossed. Right hand on top of left. That's another body position. Now 10 notes at random in the high register, left hand crossing right. And yes, that's another keyboard space and another body position, yeah, that we're gonna explore. And then 10 notes with both hands wide apart, yeah? So we're gonna review them. So here we go. We're gonna flow through them. 2 hands in the middle. 2 hands, bottom register. 2 hands, top register. 2 hands, middle crossed. Bottom crossed. Top crossed. Wide apart. Okay, now, I don't know about you, but I feel much better. Okay, good. So what are we gonna do now? I wanna continue my, I wanna do something interesting here. I wanna work with Triad Qualities, yeah, Triad Qualities. So we have our major, minor, diminished, augmented, flat 5, yes, flat 5, sus4 and sus2. And we're gonna work with those Triad Qualities. And now I can zoom in a bit. Okay, so major, minor, diminished, flat 5, augmented, sus4, and sus2. And for this exercise, you shouldn't be looking at my screen. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing triads at random. I'm gonna wait for a couple seconds and then I'm gonna call the quality. Yeah, so if you can do this with your eyes closed or just look at some other spot which is not the screen for a few seconds, so you can actually get the full benefit of this practice. Yeah, and I'm gonna wait for a couple seconds. Then I'm gonna call the qualities. Yeah, and then you can see if you actually got it right or not. Yeah, and I'm gonna be changing keys all the time. So here we go, first chord. Minor, next. Okay, close your eyes, don't look at the screen. sus2. Augmented. Diminished. sus4. Augmented. sus2. Major flat 5. sus2. Major. Diminished. Okay, that's a nice workout, and ideally for this type of work you can get an ear training friend, ear training partner. That's what we used to do at school. Yeah, and we used to just go back and forth and do those workouts. Another one, now we can take it to another level. And another level is I'm actually gonna give you the key center. Yeah, so we're gonna add another level of internal imagery, yeah, or perception. We're gonna visualize the chord at the same time that we're getting the quality correctly. So I'm gonna play this chord, I'm gonna say C. So hopefully you can recognize this chord as an augmented triad in C, and saying you're gonna visualize the note, the individual notes, the C, the E, and the G sharp, yeah, and so on. Okay, so this is a bit more challenging because we're adding another layer of of perception or internal musical imagery. Yeah, so here we go. E flat. So get the quality and visualize the root, the middle note, and the top note. So in this case will be an E flat, F, and B flat on top. Yeah. Next chord, G. Now visualize the chord in your mind's eye. A. So you recognize the quality and visualize the notes of this chord. D flat. Get the quality and visualize the notes. F sharp. Recognize quality and visualize the notes. A flat. Same process. C. Same process. And F. Okay, I want to recap what we have done. So the first level is just pure, what I would say, just pure feeling. Yeah, it is to me. Say, music is a feeling to me. Yeah, it's just my own perception. And but now we're going to add the second level. We're adding other elements. Yeah, we're actually adding to the feeling. We're adding the visual component. Yeah, so we're learning to visualize. That's why I'm giving you the key center. In the first level, I wasn't giving you the key center. Yeah, we're emphasizing feeling only. Yeah, which is just recognizing the feeling quality of chords. But on the next level, I was giving you the root. I was giving you the key center. So you can see, oh, this is an E. Okay, E minor. I can visualize my E, my G, and my B. Okay, A flat. Oh, and this is an A flat sus4. I can visualize my A flat, my D flat, and my E flat. Yeah, so that's a bit more involved. Yeah, and we should practice. Start with the first level, and when we feel very comfortable, and we're picking up now all the triad qualities, we can go to the next level and start working with our internal imagery on top of our ability to perceive the feeling quality of the triads. Okay, good. What are we going to do next? Next, I want to work with okay, now we have sound. Now we have sound. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, yeah, I'm still getting to know this webinar software. Okay, now we have, we're gonna work with our scales. Okay, we're gonna work with our scales and okay, I got feedback right away, Steve Litzy. I got feedback right away. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we have sound. Okay, we're gonna work with our melodic minor scales, and as you know, we are going to do a cluster. Cluster. Yeah, so we're gonna play the lower 4 notes with our left hand and the upper 4 notes with our right hand, and we're gonna hold all the notes down. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of this exercise, the cluster technique? So that we can visualize every conceivable scale in all 12 keys. Yeah, so let's say F sharp Dorian, you're doing your F sharp Dorian, your A altered. You're doing your A altered, your E flat Lydian flat 7, you're doing your E flat Lydian flat 7, yeah, and so on. Yeah, and that allows us, you know, to develop our internal, again, musical imagery of every conceivable scale in all 12 keys, which, if we don't follow this process, it's gonna take forever. Yeah, if it ever happens. Yeah, but in this case, I think in a few months, you know, boom, we got it. So now we're gonna work with building our melodic minor scales. Okay, why don't we start? Yeah, and we're gonna build them either ascending using solfege. So we're using imagery in solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And here we go. We're gonna go up and also descending. Starting with G. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And I always ask my students, let's meditate for 5 seconds on this shape. C sharp, descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And let's stay there, yeah, for a few seconds. F sharp, ascending. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. When I say let's contemplate this shape, I mean let's pay attention to the visual aspect. Oh, this is how this scale looks like. To the sound aspect. Oh, let's pay attention to the sound of all the notes at the same time. And to the feeling aspect. When you play the scale, there is a feeling to the left hand, there is a feeling to the right hand. Yeah, and we're gonna pay attention to those elements too. Yeah. Now let's go to G sharp, descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. E flat, ascending. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And let's do B, descending. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay. So that was a nice introduction, yeah, to melodic minor. But now we're gonna do our work, other work. So what do I have here? Yeah. You know what? This is a little booklet. Those are a series of booklets that I created, and they're very useful. I use them in different colleges and with my also private students. I'm gonna make them available. Yeah, why not? So what do we have here? And I love those booklets because it kind of bypasses all the musical symbology, all the clefs and everything. It just works on the pure visual aspect. Once we get the pure visual aspect, how it looks, how it feels, how it sounds, and those become a very strong musical imagery, then we can take all the symbology and then it makes sense. Our mind just correlates beautifully. Yeah. So that's something I've been experimenting for a while, and so far with a lot of success. Okay, so we have the name of the scale, the interval relationship, then we have the solfege levels, that never changes, and then we have the letter names, and that changes. We're gonna hold left hand and right hand, but we did that already. So I wanna change. Let's go to F. And now we're gonna do something that some of the students, of the late Charlie Banacos call it diads, which are diatonic, two-note diatonic patterns. Yeah, and we're gonna go up and down, almost like an Indian musician working on the ragas. Yeah, it's very similar actually. Yeah, so we're gonna do this, and we're gonna sing. We're gonna go up and down. Change my mind. We're only gonna go up, and then we're gonna change keys and only go down, and you're gonna see the difference. Here we go. Do, me, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. Let's move on. Let's move on to B flat. Okay, so we're now in B flat, and now we're gonna do the same pattern, but now descending only. And do, mi, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, mi, sol, re, fa, do, mi, do. And moving on, let's go to E flat. So we always do our cluster first. Now we're gonna do the pattern ascending, playing and singing at the same time. Yeah, you can do this with your guitar, bass, keyboards. And do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. And now let's go to D sharp. Well, the harmonic, why not? Let's do the harmonic scale. Okay, now we're gonna go descending. 3 and do, mi, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, mi, sol, re, fa, do, mi, do. Let's do a couple more. Let's go to G sharp. Ascending only. So maybe now you got a kind of a feeling to it. Yeah, when we do the scale for the first time, that's the part that we are kind of pulling out of long-term memory. That's why I was splitting the scales. I was doing only ascending and only descending, because when we only do descending, that's the part that we're kind of pulling out of long-term memory, and that is the part that gets exercised. So here we go. Together, and do, mi, re, fa, mi, sol, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do. One more. C sharp. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And now we're gonna go descending. Do, mi, ti, re, la, do, sol, ti, fa, la, mi, sol, re, fa, do, mi, do. Okay. So why is it that I'm always playing the root? It's kind of to remind myself, Carlos, you're in this key, you're in this key. Yeah, not only intellectually, but also on a feeling level. So I'm always hearing everything on purpose in relationship to a key of my choice. Yeah, so that helps me. Yeah, then be able to hear things in that fashion. Okay. So we're done with scales for today, and next I want to do chords. Chords. Okay. Sorry again, I'm changing patterns and I don't have sound, so thank God that okay, Steve, sound is okay, got it. Okay, folks, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, you know, your part, you're making sure that this webcast is a success. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about intervals. Yeah, let's talk about intervals. And in Western harmony, and maybe I want to talk more in a chord scale harmony, yeah? Because actually that's the system that I'm teaching. Yeah, I'm not teaching traditional, you know, a 4-part SATB harmony. I used to, but not in this class, yeah? We're working with jazz or chord scale harmony. So in that system, we have our intervals that go from a minor second to a major 13th, ascending and also descending. Okay. And with those intervals, we're gonna build anything, literally anything. Yeah, any voicing known to mankind, yeah, we're gonna build with those intervals. So let's say ascending. We're in the key of E, and I can say to one of my participants here online, let's say maybe to Steve. Steve, we're gonna build this chord. Sharp 9, 3, flat 13, flat 7, flat 9, maybe a sharp 11, and maybe a root on top. Yeah, and this is great, but in order to do that, we need to work, we need to develop a perception of intervals that is spontaneous. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna practice here. And we're gonna practice also our 13th descending. Why do we need intervals descending? Well, we need them also, let's say, for many things, but one practical application is to harmonize melodies, to see that the C can be the flat 3 of an A minor. The C can be the flat 5 of this, yeah, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Let's say this E, C can be the flat 9 of this chord. It can be also the 5 of this chord. Can be the flat 13 of this chord, or can be the major 7 of this chord. Yeah, so and so on. So that gives us harmonic flexibility. Okay, now we have to practice. So how are we gonna practice? We're gonna, whenever we practice an interval that is smaller than an octave, let's say a minor 6, you know, I like to practice like this, like the mood of the open space exercise that we did at the very beginning, that we were changing hands and body positions and spaces on the keyboards. That's what I use all the time to practice every close position, voicing, interval, chord, whatever. Yeah, but when I'm using an open position voicing, then I use my both hands. Let's say in this case, flat 13, but I can expand it. I can expand it. Yeah, so we're gonna kind of work like this. So here we go. And, oh, by the way, we're gonna use our cycle of fourths. Yeah, cycle of fourths. C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and back to C. Okay, so we did a pass, yeah? So that's how we use our cycles. I have my cycle page, and it's on my website, and CamposMusic.com. So you can go there and download that page for free. And I'm doing an update of this page, yeah? I'm having the same page, but everything flats and everything sharps, yeah? So we feel very comfortable, yeah, working with all the enharmonic spellings. Okay, what are we gonna do next? How about if we do minor 13ths but descending, and we're gonna use our cycle of fifths but using sharps as enharmonics. Okay, so why don't we practice? Everything now descending. C, and everything is a minor 13th. C, G, D, A, E, B, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, F, and C. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this practice, yeah, of intervals, yeah, interval practice. So now we're ready. Now we are ready to go to our chord extensions, yeah, our chord extensions. So here we go. Last week we worked with the different chord extensions. We took our minor triads. Yeah, that's what we did. Oh, did we do this last week? No, we didn't do this last week. This is what we did last week. Yeah, we took our minor triad, and then our minor triad has an implied chord scale in the background. In this case, Dorian mode, minor triad. And then with those two elements, the chord and the scale, when we connect them together, we pair them. Yeah, that's a term, chord scale pairing. Yeah, then we can come up with some very unique extensions, yeah, and we're gonna explore them. So we did this already. So I wanna do something else. This, not yet, because this one is a pairing with the harmonic minor mode, and I'm not doing harmonic minor modes yet, but I wanna do melodic minor modes. So I wanna do this chord pairing. Okay. So here we have this triad, minor triad, and let me see if I can zoom. For this one I can zoom a bit more. Yes. Okay, we have this minor triad, and then we're going to have a chord scale running in the background. In this case, a melodic minor scale. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand. Yeah, I'm going to add a 6. I'm going to add a 9th, and I'm going to add an 11th. And we're gonna end up with this voicing with a minor 6/11. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. Okay, so we're gonna use two elements. We're gonna use the intervals, do, root, flat 3, 5, 6, 9, 11. That's one way of seeing things. And the other one is solfege. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. And guess what are we gonna do next? We're gonna play this in all 12 keys. I don't know if we have time for all 12 keys, but we're gonna try. Okay, E flat. Okay, so imagine that you have your E flat melodic minor in the background, yeah? And on top of that, we're gonna build the scales. E flat minor, 6, 9, 11. And we have this chord extension sequence. Let's go to A. So you can imagine you have your A melodic minor in the background. Now we're going to use solfege. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. So if we use intervals, kind of the visual aspect of our brain gets activated, and if we use solfege, the language part of our brain gets activated. Okay, let's work with F sharp. So let's imagine we have an F sharp melodic minor running in the background, and then we're going to use intervals now. So we're going to visualize root, flat 3, 5, major 6, 9, 11th. Let's move on to C sharp. So melodic minor in the background, and we're going to use solfege now. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. And let's move on to E. Yeah, so we have E, melodic minor in the background. See, that's why we do the cluster technique. Yeah, everything should be connected, hopefully. Yeah, and now we're going to use intervals. Root, flat 3, 5, major 6, 9, major 9, and the perfect 11th. We have our voicing. Let's move on now to B flat. We're going to use solfege. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. And that's it. Yeah, so we have, let's do one more key. Which key should we do? Let's do G sharp. So let's imagine that we have a G sharp melodic minor running in the background. And on top of that, we're going to build this chord extension sequence. Let's use solfege. Do, mi, sol, la, re, fa. And that's it. That's actually a very nice nice workout, yeah, with chord extensions. Okay, good. Yeah, I wanted to do some, I want to play a video tutorial that I actually like very much, yeah, and it is about the style called Partido Alto. So why don't you follow me on this one. Oops. Nope. Let me see. Let me see, I have... Okay, got it.
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
We are going to play this piano piece titled Latin Riff 50. This piece is part of the book titled Ultimate Latin Riffs for Piano, which I co-authored with pianist Andrew Gordon. This rhythm is called Partido Alto and originates in Brazil. It consists of different ways of playing the samba by introducing elements of funk, jazz, and rock. The electric bass uses slap technique, and the drummer will use heavy accents on the snare. Artists that inspired me to learn this rhythm include Ayrton Moreira and the group Azimuth. Let's practice the first section in a slower tempo. Let's start playing in a slower tempo. 1, 2, 3, and... Now we're going to play the second section. We're going to play the last two lines. 1, 2, 3, and...
One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. 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 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, hope that you enjoyed this presentation. Yeah, and now I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see everybody back next Saturday, 11 a.m. And we're gonna continue our exploration. There are so many things I would like to do. Continue with chord scale exploration, voicings. We need to continue with our tension substitution, voicings, and so many things. So until next Saturday, see you then. So, thank you for being with me in this live broadcast. We covered a lot of material, and we're going to continue to do so in our next class. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Until then, have a wonderful week. Practice your instrument every day, and listen, and play lots of good music. See you next week.